Let's be real for a second. You've been sleeping on yourself. You've been walking through life half awake, giving only 60% when you got 100% inside you. You've been playing small, not because you're small, but because you've forgotten who you really are. You've been doubting your own magic, second-guessing your instincts, watering down your words, holding back your talent, making yourself quiet so others can feel comfortable being loud. And maybe it started a long time ago. Maybe someone told you you weren't good enough. Maybe they laughed at your dream, or maybe life just beat you down little by little until you believed that being average was all you could aim for. And now you're just floating, going through the motions, waking up, working, surviving, scrolling, sleeping. Repeat. You ever look in a mirror and feel like you don't even recognize the person staring back? That spark, the one you used to have when you believed anything was possible, it didn't die. It just got buried under the noise. Life got loud. People got in your head. Fear started calling the shots. But deep down, there's still a part of you that knows. A voice that whispers, "This isn't it. There's more in me." That's why you're here. That's why you're reading this. Because that small voice inside of you is getting louder. Because a part of you is done being numb. A part of you is done being on the sidelines of your own life. Let's call it what it is. You've been playing safe. You've been hiding your power. You've been saying maybe later and I'm not ready, when really you're just scared. Scared to fail. Scared to succeed. Scared to be seen. Scared to try and not be enough. But let me tell you something. No one who ever made something great waited until they felt ready. They just started. They decided they were worth it. They acted on faith. And they moved, even when the fear was loud. You got that same choice right now. Because no one's coming to wake you up. No one's going to drag you to your purpose. No one's going to hand you your confidence. No one's going to fix your mindset for you. This is your job. Your comeback. Your story to write. You got talent you haven't touched yet. Ideas you haven't shared. Conversations you haven't had. Places you haven't been because fear keeps whispering. What if you fail? But what if you don't? What if you win? What if you become everything they said you couldn't be? What if you shock yourself? You've been sleeping on your own power. You've been walking around like you're average, but you're not. You were never average. You've just been taught to settle. But I'm telling you now, wake up. Wake up to your worth. Wake up to your strength. Wake up to your purpose. Wake up to your fire. Because the truth is, you don't need more motivation. You don't need more time. You don't need anyone's permission. You need to remember who the hell you are. You've overcome things people would have folded under. You've survived heartbreak, disappointment, rejection, pain. You've had every reason to quit, and yet you're still here, still breathing, still fighting, still holding on. That's not weakness. That's power. So from this moment on, make a decision. You're not going to keep living like you're invisible. You're not going to keep saying someday. You're not going to keep shrinking. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are not behind. You're just not done yet. So get up, speak up, show up. Start choosing yourself again. Start betting on your own name again. Start moving like your dreams matter. Because they do. You've got one shot at this life. One. No do-overs. No rewinds. So please, don't spend it asleep. This is your wake-up call. You've been sleeping on yourself. It's time to rise. And once you do, the world better make room. Let's talk about self-confidence. Not the fake kind. Not the loud, braggy kind that's all about flexing and showing off. I'm talking about that quiet, grounded, unshakable self-confidence. The kind that changes the entire energy when you walk into a room. The kind that doesn't need to speak first because it already feels like presence. That's the kind that moves the world. See, real self-confidence isn't about being the loudest voice. It's not about being the prettiest, smartest, or richest. It's about knowing who you are, even when no one claps for you. It's about walking into a room and not needing validation, because you've already given it to yourself. When you have confidence in yourself, you don't walk in wondering, do they like me? You walk in thinking, do I like them? And that shift changes everything. Confidence makes you walk differently. You stand taller. You make eye contact. You speak clearly, and you don't shrink your voice to fit into places you've outgrown. You stop apologizing for your presence. You stop making yourself smaller just to make others more comfortable. Let me tell you something powerful. The way you see yourself determines the way the world sees you. If you walk into a room like you don't belong, people will believe you. But if you walk in like you own your space, like you earned your seat at the table, they'll believe that too. And here's the truth. You don't have to wait until you feel confident to act confident. Let that sink in. Confidence is a muscle. You build it. You train it. You stretch it. You show up even when your voice shakes. You speak up even when your hands are sweating. You take the risk even when your legs feel like they're going to give out. You don't wait for permission. You give yourself permission. People love to talk about fake it till you make it. But I say this, believe it until you become it. Act like the version of you who knows they deserve to be in every room they walk into. Start moving like the version of you that owns their value. Because when you do that, everything else catches up. Opportunities start showing up. People start respecting you more. You stop tolerating nonsense. You start attracting things that match your energy. Because here's the wild thing. When you start believing in yourself, everything changes. Not just how people see you, but how you see yourself. You stop begging for attention and start commanding respect. You stop competing and start creating. You stop looking for a seat at someone else's table and start building your own. You don't need to be loud to be confident. You just need to be sure. Sure of your value. Sure of your purpose. Sure of what you bring to the table. And look, I'm not saying this is easy. If you've been doubting yourself for years, if you've been told you're not enough, if life has kicked you down more times than you can count, it's hard to suddenly believe you're powerful. I get it, but you can still build it. Step by step, day by day. Start small. Wake up and remind yourself, I am worthy. Speak up in that meeting, even if your voice trembles. Say no to something that drains you. Wear that outfit that makes you feel good. Look in the mirror and hold your own gaze. These little things, they add up. Every time you choose yourself, your confidence grows a little stronger. Every time you refuse to shrink, your energy expands. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about saying, I've got flaws, but I still believe in me. It's about showing up when it's hard. It's about knowing your value doesn't depend on anyone else's opinion. So the next time you walk into a room, don't ask yourself if you belong. Tell yourself, I'm already here. That means I do. Walk with your head high, not in arrogance, but in truth. Walk like someone who's done hiding. Walk like someone who knows their worth. Walk like someone who's done sleeping on themselves. Because confidence isn't something you borrow from the world. It's something you decide to give yourself. And once you do, people will start treating you the way you treat you. So move like it. Let's be real for a second. You probably heard the phrase, you can't pour from an empty cup 100 times. And maybe it sounded cheesy the first few times. But let's break that down for real. How can the world see your value if you haven't even taken the time to see it yourself? Too many of us walk through life waiting for someone to validate us, waiting for someone to pick us, love us, notice us, applaud us. We're looking for that one job, that one friend group, that one relationship, that one moment where we finally feel seen and worthy. But here's the truth most people avoid. You've got to see yourself first. You can't keep waiting for the world to love you into loving yourself. It doesn't work like that. If you don't think you're enough, you'll never believe someone else who tells you you are. If you don't love yourself, you'll question every compliment, sabotage every good thing, and always feel like something's missing, even when everything's going right. It all starts with you. You are the foundation, the root, the base of everything you build. And if that foundation is shaky, if it's built on self-doubt, self-hate, and fear, everything on top of it starts to crack too. Self-love isn't some fluffy concept for the books. It's a daily choice. It's a radical act of rebellion in a world that profits from your insecurity. Think about that. The world doesn't want you to love yourself. Not fully, not deeply, not fiercely. Because when you do, you stop needing to chase approval. You stop buying things to fix yourself. You stop bending over backward just to be liked. You start walking differently. You speak differently. You set boundaries. You demand respect. You stop settling. And that's dangerous to the systems that rely on you playing small. So of course it's hard. Of course you'll be tested. Of course there are days when it feels impossible to look in the mirror and say, I love me. But that's exactly why it's worth it. Because until you truly start loving yourself, you'll keep letting the world define your worth. You'll keep handing the pen to everyone else, letting them write your story. You'll keep falling for people who only give you half love, because you haven't given yourself the full kind yet. But when you flip that switch, when you start pouring into yourself, even just a little, things change. Slowly, then suddenly, you stop chasing people who won't stay. You stop begging for love in places where it was never meant to live. You stop letting fear control your decisions. And you start moving from a place of wholeness instead of desperation. Loving yourself is not arrogance. It's not selfishness. It's not ego. It's survival. It's strength. It's knowing that even if everyone walks away, you still have you, and you are enough. You've always been. You just forgot for a while. So how do you do it? How do you start loving yourself when you've spent years believing you weren't good enough? Start small. Look yourself in the mirror every morning and say one good thing, out loud, even if you don't believe it yet. I'm proud of you. I'm trying. I'm healing. I matter. It doesn't have to be perfect, just real. Forgive yourself for all of it, for the mistakes, the missed chances, the times you betrayed your own heart to make someone else happy. Let it go. You were doing the best you could with what you had. Start doing things that make you feel alive. Not for the gram, not for likes. For you, dance in your room. Take that walk. Wear that outfit. Create something. Say no when you want to. Say yes when you mean it. And stop talking to yourself like you're your enemy. Start having your own back. Because the world can only meet you as deeply as you've met yourself. The kind of love you accept from others is directly connected to the love you give yourself. So give yourself that love. Every day. Even when it's messy. Especially when it's messy. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to be real. And real love, the kind that heals, that builds, that sticks, it starts with you. The world will begin to reflect back the energy you carry. So carry one that says, I know who I am. I love who I'm becoming. And I'm not begging to be seen anymore. You want to be loved? Start by loving yourself like your life depends on it. Because it does. Let's keep it real. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's not something you just wake up one day and magically have. It's something you build. And guess what? You build it by doing. You don't think your way into confidence. You move your way into it. You act. You try. You show up. You stumble. You learn. You go again. And that is how confidence gets made. You see someone walking with their chest out, head high, like they own the room. That's not just bravado. That's a reflection of action. That's someone who's put themselves through the fire and came out stronger. Someone who's done hard things and survived. Someone who knows they got what it takes. Not because someone told them so, but because they proved it to themselves. Confidence is built in the reps. Just like in the gym, you don't get stronger staring at the weights. You don't get faster thinking about the treadmill. You train. You put in the work. You show up when you don't feel like it. And your body starts changing, little by little, day by day. Same with confidence. So stop waiting until you feel confident to take that step. You won't. Not at first. You got to do it scared. Do it unsure. Do it uncomfortable. Do it anyway. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, confidence grows. Every time you finish something you started, confidence grows. Every time you speak up when your voice shakes, confidence grows. Every time you fail and don't quit, confidence grows. Because you're sending a message to your brain. Hey, I've got this. I may not know exactly what I'm doing, but I believe I can figure it out. That's the secret right there. It's not about having all the answers. It's about trusting yourself to find them. Confidence isn't about being loud. It's about being rooted. It's not about thinking you're better than anyone. It's knowing you're not less than anyone. It's walking into every situation not with arrogance, but with quiet power that says, I belong here. But you won't get that just by reading books or listening to motivation. You get it by stepping into the arena. You get it by asking the question when everyone else stays silent. You get it by applying for the job you don't feel qualified for. You get it by hitting post on that video, even if your hands are shaking. You get it by running the mile, even when you're out of breath. You get by saying, I'll figure out, instead of, I'm not ready. That's how it happens. Bit by bit, action by action, win by win. And yes, there will be setbacks. You will mess up. You will get embarrassed. You will fall short sometimes. But every single time you push through, every time you show up anyway, your self-belief levels up. You don't have to feel brave to take the step. You just have to take the step. The bravery kicks in after. One of the biggest lies we're sold is that confident people have always been that way. Nah, they weren't born fearless. They were just tired of letting fear run their life. So they made a choice: act anyway, keep moving, learn fast, fail forward. They built their confidence the same way you're about to, through action. And don't get it twisted. You're already doing more than you think. Just surviving some of the things you've been through took serious strength. That time you got back up when no one thought you would, that was confidence in action. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from experience. Now it's time to keep going. You don't need to be perfect to start. You just need to start. Start with one habit, one goal, one decision, and then keep stacking the wins. Show yourself what you're capable of. Watch how your voice changes. Watch how your walk changes. Watch how your energy changes. Because confidence isn't loud. It's a quiet fire, and it burns brighter every time you choose to act. So, if you want to feel more confident, stop sitting around waiting to feel ready. Start building it, one brave move at a time. Your life is waiting. Move. Let's get something straight right now. Your voice matters. Yeah, your voice. Not just the loud ones. Not just the people with big followings or fancy titles. Not just the ones who seem confident or smooth or perfect. You, your thoughts, your feelings, your truth, your perspective, your story. It matters more than you've been led to believe. Too many people walk around silent, not because they have nothing to say, but because the world convinced them they shouldn't say it. Somewhere along the way, someone told you to stay quiet, to not make noise, to keep it to yourself. And that silence, it becomes a habit, a cage. But I'm here to tell you, enough of that. You weren't put on this planet to blend in, to shrink, or to bite your tongue forever. You got something to say, and the world needs to hear it. Not everyone will agree with you, and that's okay. That's not the goal. The goal is to stop hiding who you are just to make people comfortable. The goal is to stop letting fear steal your voice. When you speak, whether it's in a meeting, on a stage, in a classroom, or just standing up for yourself in a small conversation, you're reminding yourself that you matter. It's not about being loud. It's about being honest. It's not about having all the right words. It's about being real. You don't need to sound like anyone else. You don't need perfect grammar or a powerful delivery. All you need is the courage to say what's true for you. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, even if your heart races, even if your voice cracks mid-sentence. That's power. That's what makes people listen. Not just what you say, but the fire behind it. And let me tell you something else. There's someone out there who needs your voice. Someone going through something similar. Someone who feels alone. Someone who's waiting for someone like you to speak up. So they know they're not crazy, not broken, not weak. When you speak your truth, you give other people permission to do the same. Your voice is more than just words. It's a tool, a weapon, a bridge, a torch. It can break cycles, start movements, inspire change. It can challenge lies, call out injustice, or simply say, hey, I matter. And sometimes that's the most radical thing you can do. Remind the world that you're here, that you exist, and you're not backing down. Think about it. How many times have you walked away from a moment and said, I wish I spoke up? How many times have you dimmed yourself to avoid judgment or conflict? And how many more times will you let yourself feel small when you were born to stand tall. That ends now. From today, speak up for what you believe in. Speak up for your boundaries. Speak up for your values. Speak up for your dreams. Speak up when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because if you don't, someone else will speak for you. Someone else will define your story. And that's not the life you came here to live. Start small if you need to. Say what you really think in that group chat. Stand your ground in that meeting. Share your art, your thoughts, your vision online. Speak life into yourself in the mirror. Little by little, your voice gets stronger. Don't wait until you feel confident. Confidence comes from using your voice, from choosing courage again and again, from realizing that your voice didn't break you. It made you. And listen, your voice won't always be accepted. That's part of the deal. But don't let rejection silence you. You weren't born to please. You were born to impact. And you can't do that in silence. So here's your reminder. You're not too quiet. You're not too opinionated. You're not too sensitive. You're not too much. You're powerful. And your voice, that's your proof. Use it. Use it to tell your story. Use it to lift others up. Use it to challenge the lies you've been told. Use it to speak love. Use it to protect your peace. Use it to rewrite your narrative. Because when you find your voice and own it, everything changes. The world doesn't need more silence. It needs more you. So go ahead. Speak up. Loud, soft, shaky. It doesn't matter. Just speak. You've stayed quiet long enough. Let's keep it 100. You were not born to blend in. You weren't created to just survive. You weren't put here to doubt yourself and wait for permission. You got something this world needs. Your voice, your art, your story, your energy, your ideas. So stop sleeping on yourself. Stop standing in your own way. Stop thinking you're not enough. Confidence is a feeling you wait for. It's a decision you make every single day. From now on, walk like you know who you are. Talk like you believe in your future. Move like something amazing is already on the way. Because the truth is, it is. So to every new viewer and subscriber watching this is your sign. Start betting on yourself. Start believing again. Because once your confidence comes back, game over. Let's get it.